Hello, everyone. This is the BuddySpoiler Podcast. My name is the Night Shadow, and this week we have three people joining us. Please go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hey, I'm TCD.
I am Adrian, or other known as the number one Star Dragon World fanboy.
And I'm the guest, Roger.
All right. Raja's our special guest this week because he's coming to us from Malaysia. The Malaysian regionals just happened, specifically on the 8th, right? Did I get that right?
Yep. That's exactly right.
Okay, perfect. And we brought you on because we kind of want you to talk about how the regionals was. What did you play? How did you find it?
All right. Well, I asked Joel last minute for advice. Don't judge me. I played Turret Loop. I went center. And Thunder Empire and Chaos were on my right left.
Okay.
And
yeah, no judging.
For our top, so basically, you could guess what was going to be in top 8. Four teams had Turret Loops in their teams. And then each team will have had Thunder Empire and Chaos. They all made it to top 8. That was not fun. But then...
Yeah, I can imagine. How many teams were there?
26 teams.
Oh, 26. Wow.
Dang,
But
that's
yeah,
crazy.
did every team have Chaos and Thunder Empire, or just the top 8, or like a good majority of them?
We have 26 teams because some of the teams, they came from Singapore and Indonesia. The ones that came from Singapore, they all had the full decks. The Indonesians, they had somewhat full decks. They would have at least Thunder Empire and Chaos in their teams. So in Malaysia, not many of the teams had full decks. So majority of the top 8s, like we had 4 Singapore teams, only 3 Malaysian teams and 1 Indonesian teams that made it to top 8. So if like round 1 you would fight the non-full deck teams, and maybe you'll see them again round 2, and then as you progress, then you start fighting the meta. What you would get to top lah. Oops.
I see.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So that's what happens. That's why top 8 is like that, because we over here we don't have many full decks. So they come with their full decks and then they try to go for our top 8 spots lah.
Ooh, that sounds
That's
rough.
That's how it is every year. Like, the regionals, their representatives. Sometimes you don't know. You might say Malaysian regionals, but then Singapore. Yeah, that's how it is.
I see. I recall one Singaporean actually went to the Philippines last year to take their top spot, so I can understand that mentality.
Yeah, well, in the Asia side, it's a bit more competitive. That's
Yeah.
what they want to call it.
Mm-hmm. Overall, I mean, what did you think of the team format?
Team format is fun, especially when the communication was allowed. So you really feel that you're part of team. Otherwise, if there was no communication, you'd be just dealing there by yourself like a normal solo tournament. So this was fun.
So
This-
communication
the
was
price
allowed in
was-
yours?
Yeah, communication was allowed.
Okay. All right. The last time we tried recording, we had Adrian talking about the Toronto experience, and there was not communication allowed there.
Yeah, there was much more limited communication. In there, like what you could basically do was you had to just watch them play, and then the only things you could point out from what Judge called was if a player makes an irreversible misplay, like not paying a cost or trying to use a named ability twice in one turn, like say like calling two any card that has a named ability basically, and just trying to like call it twice in a row to get like free draws or something. That is stuff you can like call out, and then yeah, that's pretty much the only real communication. And other than maybe like offering like dice counters and stuff, usually just stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's
a
probably
very
like different
thing.
levels. From what I heard, there's like different like actual like levels, like regional levels and stuff. So that could be one of the indications for that.
Possibly.
Over here, it was like, okay, check his drop zone, look for mini gear guard, look for this, look for that. Had all kinds of fun.
Does he have enough to upgrade the world?
Yeah. Oh, check his drop zone. Maybe he can Drago Uno you. He was like
Oh
that.
goodness.
We can't. Okay, hit him with overturn. That's like that. I think
Yeah.
for
Okay.
when you play
a little
with the
too
meta and all
competitive.
that. Wait, what?
Sorry. Sorry. Go ahead.
The most unfun part, I guess, when you try to win in that team league when with your friends is when you're all playing meta and then you fight the little kids team with when they're playing the non-meta. That was I couldn't look. I hope my teammates won faster than I did because looping a kid is not fun. I hope they do something about
That's
that
what really
soon.
sucks.
Yeah.
Carrot loop.
Yeah, usually
on
whenever
that
I
note-
face Oh, sorry, Tina.
Okay,
You
go
can go
ahead.
first.
I was gonna go on to the whole note about how the team league works for each of you. Like I wanted to go straight to this whole team league regarding BuddyFight. How do you feel about its format in regards to the meta right now, and especially for you, TCD? Does it appeal to you as a non-competitive player, or is it just a gimmick?
For me personally, I think as a non-competitive player, I think it's a really fun thing because limiting it to where you can only have one flag or like you can't have multiple of the same flag on your team makes it really more interesting because that's when you see more variety of the decks instead of. But there's also the thing as pointed out earlier where like basically everyone has Thunder Empire and Chaos that kind of just gets boring and overused.
Yeah, from a competitive standpoint, specifically for 3 people teams, the idea is very good, but just the format it's introduced into is very like rock, paper, scissors, honestly, in some matchups. Like, so if you're not, because there's not like, sometimes you can strategize with your team on what slot, like, what keychain slot you're going to be in for the rest of the tournament. And then you have to think where the rogue decks are, where the meta decks are, and where like just the top tier pieces are, and what like where you think, for example, Leviathan, where what slot most Leviathans will play in, or what slot most auto Deities will play in, and stuff like that. And then if you just happen to just end up hitting like the one bad matchup, because some matchups in tier 1 right now are just kind of like decided already, depending on obviously if said player bricks though. But yeah, that's like the only downside to teams currently. If we're in like a very RPS format, so rock, paper, scissors, you can basically just have your matchup already kind of decide for you. But other than that, if like in the future, like it definitely has a lot of potential, and I really like the execution right now for it. It adds a whole lot more to the game right now. And like TCD did say, there is good diversity sometimes.
Okay. How about you, Raja?
It's great. I just wish it came out after Buddy Legends came out. Then we would have a much more variety. Right now it's just three
Yeah.
flags. I mean 3 flags. You got Thunder Empire, Chaos, Legend. You don't play that. I wish after Battle Legends. It would have been good. But
Oddly enough, in the Malaysian regionals, didn't Plague wasn't Plague one of the teams that won?
Yes, Plague 1. Oh, and we had Magic Loop. I mean Grandfather Loop. But yeah, Plague 1. The team with Plague 1. But you have to realize that they have Chaos and Thunder Empire on that team also.
Of course.
So it's like they took.
From what I heard, the Plague player actually beat the Chaos player. Is that true?
Where do you hear that from?
Sorry?
Because yeah, it's true. It did
Okay.
happen. Was there were things that happened at the Plague player to win that matchup, which started a flame war on Facebook. So yeah, let's not go there.
Fair enough. Since you mentioned Buddy Legends, let's go jump into that. The date of recording for everybody is we're recording on April 16th Pacific time or April 17th Malaysian time. So it's releasing in a couple of days, Buddy Legends is. So I kind of want to know, what cards are you most excited for? And if you don't mind, I'd like to start with Raja, if you have any.
I'm excited for the Yamagero Mikazuchi. The
new Yamagero?
That thing is too good, man.
Heavenly Spectre Yamagero Mikazuchi, that one?
Yeah, that one. I'm excited for that too. Well,
right?
Not really for that. It's support card. Where are you? The Labolas. Yes.
Oh, okay.
See what.
Would you say it's the Labolas or the Mikazuchi that is more key?
For me, it's the Labolas, because I would like to just plop like 2 down and then play the Darkness Dragon World spell, the ping one, gain one, and then just proc him off.
Yeah. Oh, so you're actually playing Tenomi Makari?
Yes. I've been experimenting it in my build, and I'm like, oh, I get to deal you 3 for free. That's nice. And go 2 for free.
Some others are taking a couple of other approaches. I know Hunter Surge is trying out with Revenger Ikazuchi, and I'm personally trying it with Thunderclap Goraiko.
Goraiko, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah, those are old cards.
I think I'm trying to mix them.
Anything else?
No, I'm just trying out 100 Demons right now.
Oh, you just focus on 100 Demons?
Because I mean, there are a couple of you that I'm excited for, but then they're just like extras, like the one who leads, he's like the chosen one in a way. So I'm like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
It's a better chosen one, in my opinion.
Okay. All right. Well, if that's all, then I'd like to go to Team Chaotic Deities next. TCD, what did you have in mind?
Okay, I actually had a few cards. So I got to represent my hero world here. Mobile Specialist Chassis Beta Casablanca. I fell in love with this card when it got announced, because with new Satsuki, basically you can't call from Soul like you would normal Satsuki with like its ability. You have to use spells and other abilities. So basically what you can do is it's the one that counter during attack phase, call a crew trooper from the Scud Soul by paying its call cost and return it to hand.
Oh, you're thinking of the sorry. For some reason I thought it was the box stopper. No, this is the double R.
Yeah. What you could do is you call a size 1, and then you can call this on top of size 1, and then call another size 1, and basically you get the double attack ability, call, and then call size 1, attack twice. Then you can just use any ability really. There's the spell, the I Will Sortie, you to counter call another one, and then you just overturn. And the consistency I get off of my testing so far, is I'm sorry, I just like brain freeze right there. The consistency I get to like call this guy off is ridiculous. Every single game, I'm able to literally call him, get 5 attacks off with abilities, and then just overturn, and then just get the whatever attacks I have left.
It's ridiculous. Honestly, I like it with Command Mech as well. I like Command Mech underneath it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Then another one I got was Uniform Warrior China Foil. Basically just makes Mass Vantage Rescue Drum, which is always great.
It's
just
rapid fire.
Yeah. Another thing I love though, why I like it better than like Rescue Drum, is first it has Soul Guard, so it's not like they could just like counter destroy it, because it would stay on the field. But also you have access to On the Rose that cuts down evil. So if they nullify an attack, you can just stand Mass Vantage back up and then continue attacking again. So that's just easier ways to get it off, and what makes it better than Rescue Drum, because Rescue Drum if they nullify an attack, it's kind of just there.
Yeah. Being able to restand mass advantage is really key.
Yeah, that's why with my new build, I've been running China Frill at 4, and then I moved up on the Rose that cuts on evil from 2 to 3, just because it's a really, really easy combo, and it's really nice to deal with when you're fighting against like Chaos or something like that, where they're gonna consistently have like a full field of monsters that you need to kill.
Yeah. I also like the fact that if since this one has move as well, and Soul Guard, if this one gets destroyed once, then you can call in the Midnight Vantage just to salvage whatever you want.
Yeah,
Or you
yeah,
actually play whatever.
yeah, definitely.
It's quite a bit of a combo enabler, and I do like that about it.
Yeah, it is such a good card in my opinion. The fact that it's an uncommon just makes me so happy. Another one that was really good for Hero World was Special Weapon Virus Buster. It's the spell for computers. You basically put in your transform, and then your transform and its soul isn't going to leave the field by your opponent's effects. So once you have it in there, you don't have to worry about your transform being killed off or anything like that. And with my testing, the way I see it is, you put it in there, and basically end game, like last ditch effort, you need to deal that 3 burn with OG Netman or with Red Reboot, and you have to get the double attack off. You can savage this, but usually I just keep it in the soul, and I don't do its second effect to gain life and destroy a monster. Then another one I want to touch on, I'm gonna leave Heal now. Is El Quixote for the Amulo deck. Like, a lot of people don't give this card rep for what it does. Basically, it's a size 1 that becomes size 0 with an Omnilord, and all it does is look at top 3, and you put an Omnilord Plumdom into your hand. It doesn't have to be a monster or anything like that. So I actually won. I won like I believe 2 copies of the Impact.
You can only run one if you're in Dragon World.
Oh yeah, 1. Sorry, I'm dumb. I won 1 of the Impact, and so you're able to get the Impact in hand, or if you want Emblem Omnilords, I've seen some people do that. But the fact that it puts it to the drop zone helps because it says put up to 1 Omnilord. So there's been multiple times where I would just check the top 3, and all 3 would be Omnilords, and I don't grab any of them, so I can get Mysteria's effects off. Stuff like that. Just memes. Then just the link attacking for 2 cards to go to top from top of the deck to gauge. That's also a nice touch because it helps with counter calling Bernova if you go through your gauge during your turn.
Yeah, and it also helps because some of the Omnilords are really expensive, so
yeah,
gauge
definitely.
helps.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, you could actually use this in non-Omnilord variants just for a gauge gainer.
Yeah, definitely. A size 1 that gains 2 gauge. That's really useful. And then my final card that got me really hyped for Shadow Shades. It's Artist's Shadow Form Silver Oliver. I liked Shadow Shades when it first came out, and then I like kind of forgot about them. But since this came out, I think I'm gonna actually build them again. The fact is, like, it's so easy to get off just because, like, or it's so easy to get all the abilities off already in Shadow Shades. And the fact now you just have more ways to gain soul, but also just the idea of during your opponent's turn when it enters the drop zone from the soul, gauge life draw. So you can use your abilities, or if they just attack whatever monster that this is in the soul, you basically get the ability off. So it's like a guarantee, gauge life draw. Then the double attack penetrate 3,000 power also helps with those bigger monsters that have like 3 crit and stuff like that.
It seems a little less useful on Terry, specifically because it already has double attack, but
yeah,
it seems nice on the other 2, Joe and, well, regular Joe, not the reduced size Joe, and Oh goodness, what was the destroy a card guy? I forgot already.
Silhouette
Damien.
Thank you, Silhouette Damien. Wow. I'm a
Yeah,
Guardians player, not an Executioner's player. All right. Yeah, these are pretty varied, and have quite a different number of roles.
Yeah.
How about you, Adrian? Any cards you want to talk about?
Okay, all right. So the real MVP that finally gave like Dark Heroes something, like that one little biscuit from the entire tray. Okay, so second Dark Hero Hideout is, oh my god, it's so good. I am so happy we finally got another set spell to play with, and the fact that its attribute Dark Hero is like just so good. Holy crap!
Yeah.
Like it took so like, and also okay, just the fact that basically it gives you like item protection and bounce protection for your items, and just a 2k buff would have, and just with the whole Dark Hero attribute on it, would have made it already run. But the fact that you just get an added bonus for a Dark Hero entering the field of just getting a free gauge in a life 1, basically just like it adds so much more. Like, oh, you can search it. There's so much. Oh, this card is so good. I'm so happy we got this. I'm hoping we get more Dark Hero support. Hopefully maybe I doubt it, like another Schwartz or like another size 0 of some sort in the future sets. But definitely for this set, for Hero World, because I play Dark Heroes myself. I'm really happy with this one support card we just got. Now when it comes to I'll be to dual, I'm more of like I will say Darkness Dragon World, because like I don't really see a variant currently that just plays it in, it will just be a pure Dragon World version. But yeah. I'm so excited for, okay, so the new Dual World Purgatory Knights, all of them are very good cards, and basically just from standalone effects, they're already really good, and just from like a lore perspective, they're actually like, it's super hyped that they actually got revived and they're actually now, you know, free from the Purgatory curse. Definitely really happy with the direction they went for Orchid Sword and everything. Not to mention, a definite, like, if you're playing any most Armor Dragon decks or any Neo Dragon decks, a definite 4 of to your collection is gonna be Into the Future. Like that card is really good. The fact that it has like 3 effects on just one card for just a simple soul is super strong. Like for the first effect, where you can give your entire field a +1 critical. So you can give a card on your field +1 critical. That for Purgatory Knights, honestly, you can literally just probably close games because of that. Same with Jack, depending on the variant. But just that 1 critical on the Jack or the Orchid Sword can potentially close the game if your opponent has an open center in some scenarios. The standard card is really good for generically any of the versions, and then resting a card is a good defensive measure. I definitely think Into the Future is like a must pick up for any person who's playing like any of the 3 worlds, that Purgatory Knights, Neo Dragons, or Armor Dragon decks. Definitely a good card, going to be really good in the future. And then the underrated boy, because currently a certain deck just completely counters it, and there's no real out yet to it. Eventual Star Deity Dragon Zodiac Nova.
All right.
Okay. I'm probably not gonna be like explain it as well as TNS, but personally, this card is actually really good. Obviously, and the support card also, but more Nova, just because the Ditch 2 to rest all monsters in the field will be a super strong tool against Auto-D Chaos variants will hate this if you can resolve this properly. Because it's basically a narcolepsy, except without resting a weapon. But most of the time, the only weapon really that's played is obviously the sword, and then technically the flag, if you want to count that. And the sword doesn't really matter in most scenarios. It won't be able to hit the Zodiac anyways. But if you can just board rest them, that's a really big major setback. Same with Calf. Just board resting, except for items, is really strong personally. Until there's like a clear weakness to swords that hopefully some decks get. I don't know when that will be, but if once there's a clear weakness and then Zodiac has access to it, considering he's from Legend World and Star Dragon World, like Nova's a good addition for both variants. Because personally, I know that the Legend World variant is better just because of the bouncing, and because it's got a bigger toolbox due to Legend World's like infinite draws and infinite cycling. But yeah, this card is just super solid. Until we get it out to Swords, it won't see the spotlight right now, but I definitely think in the future, this will be a really good card. Because Zodiac's been getting nothing but bits and pieces that have all been solid cards through X and to X2. So I have some really high hopes for it in the future. But that's definitely like one of my top cards that I really like from this set. Also, the artwork is really good. Just the whole the Zodiac aesthetic is really good. And my last card I want to talk about, even though like he's basically a meme right now, Future Sword Jackknife Grand Thieves. All right, I really like the card just because I love Jack a lot. This card's very inconsistent. Like if you resolve it, you're probably in a really good position. But right now, it definitely needs a little bit of work. I'd personally play it from the Star Dragon World side right now, just because I don't think the Dragon World side can really do it. I mean, like, you've got more shields technically, but I don't see, like, a whole lot of advantage it gains.
I actually see the opposite. I see the Dragon World being able to do it a lot easier because they have abilities to reduce their life a lot faster and have access to all of the Jackknife stack on stack on stack to early play Gold Ritter.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Only thing, I think it may just be like a mentality thing, but when you're at 5 or less life as just any player in this format, you just feel really scared of just getting impacted, and then you're like, oh, I guess I died.
Well, that's the other thing. I mean, Jackknife Gift gives you that 3 life buffer again once in Dragon World once you get the 5 life and get this guy out.
Yeah, not to mention like I know that the Gold Ritter engine actually is a pretty good thing. It's really strong from what I've heard. But overall, a really good card. Possibly like depending on the future of like how they support this, it could be really good. Or they may not support it, but the main reason I like this card the most is because of the artwork and just because the SP is probably by far like one of the best things I've ever seen from the current SPs. And that's probably about it. I'm obviously hyped for Yamagata Mikazuchi because Thundermine, and then just the whole oh man, I can't wait to get pinged for 4 to 5. I can't wait. It'll be great.
Just 5?
Yeah, hopefully.
Because there is a certain impact called "There Are No Places Left for You to Run" that can increase that quite a bit more.
I know that silly impact. That impact actually like it scaled well with time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's about it though. Honestly, this is a really good set though.
Yeah, it does a lot for a lot of the other archetypes too. It's just like not just Thunder Empire and Chaos, but also everything else.
It gave everyone something. That's what matters.
Yeah. For my end, I'm probably going to cover cards that are reminiscent of a couple of players who have unique, or shall we say, special decks over in our meta. Like we know these players as this Dex Master type thing. So starting off, since Adrian covered Zodiac Nova, I'm going to cover the Meteor Arms instead, as a Voarl. Meteor Arms as a Voarl, I believe his name.
However
anyway,
you pronounce it.
Yeah. Either way, it prevents monsters from the opponent's field from standing by card effects. You get to gauge and deal 1 damage whenever they get arrested. And it's a size 3? Whoa. They finally give a size 3 Dragon Arms to Legend World. One of the things I like about this is that since you're, in most Zodiac's cases, you're able to choose the cards from the drop zone, this just lets you get it in there without actually having to worry about having to call it and then having to place on top of stuff. So at the very least, being a size 3 lets it scale the power level up a little bit. And then preventing restands is just really, really key for letting Zodiac be a shutdown deck. I'm not as sold on Zodiac Nova's Ditch 2, but only because it doesn't target items. And it's the most expensive Zodiac. The current Zodiac build that our Zodiac player is running is called Zodiac Loop. And basically, during both players' turns, well, typically the opponent's turn, you can counter-call Zodiacs onto the field with multiple soul by using Starfall Knight onto Capricorneo, which calls, oh goodness, I should have had this up. The size 2 Meteor Arms.
Size 2, there's a... I actually played the Zodiac variant, and I think I know what you're talking about. I just can't put it on my head right now.
Yeah, the name always escapes me if I don't look it up. Anyways, it's Meteor Arms Drag Solar.
Oh yeah, him, yeah.
Yeah, and then after you get Drag Solar out, you can call any Zodiac from the drop zone, and typically during the opponent's turn, it's just great to pull out Chaos Zodiac because it's just 1 gauge. Though this definitely will be a consideration now if you can just up the gauge gain a little bit, because 2 cards additional, 4 destructions before this card is destroyed is still a thing. So definitely Zodiac's going to get a boost here. Still will be weak against swords, but I think they'll find its own niche eventually.
Yeah, definitely, like, at least the discard 2 isn't a complete discard 2, because we do have spare to at least go from like a discard 2 to at least a discard 1, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the 3 gauge definitely like is the one key problem I'm seeing with it, but hopefully some more gauge gain in the future.
Mm-hmm. The next one I want to cover is our Oni Assassin player, and for Onis, they got Rampaging Evil Demon Akuro. And Akuro is pretty great because it's a combination of the auto deity Ibuki from the dual chest and the original Oni boss Kiribuki. Being able to deal damage and destroy cards is kind of necessary, and this one just ups it a little bit further because the damage is not reticent on hitting a size 3 or whatever, and destroying multiple cards just for ambush is great, and so for the same cost. On top of that, 4 critical really matters against knights, and 12,000 power also matters against jackknife. So it has a lot of things going for it that really make it nice in the Oni Assassin deck.
Yeah, also, this card can probably be so nasty if you resolve it in like some specific scenarios through ambush. Like, your opponent's going to be losing 2 cards, an item, a set, 2 monsters. It's just a really strong card, honestly. And I think just the 4 crit and the 12k base power was just added, basically, better stuff to it.
Sure. Right?
Yeah, this card's really good though. Oni Assassins will definitely love this card. It's basically it's a card that really rewards Oni Assassin players for basically holding on to this card for specific scenarios and then using it in the specific scenarios where it can really set your opponent back and really punish them for over-investing a board in some areas.
Yeah, exactly. Third, I'm covering a Magic World card next, but it's not because it's Magic World, but because it's for our Omni player, effectively. And I call him an Omni player, but really he's Hero Menjo. He just plays a lot of Omnis. Dogged Demon Lord Asmodai. When it's destroyed, you get to look at the top 5, add 1 to your hand, and put the rest into the drop zone. This is a godsend for Hero Menjo. Like, what in the world?
Yeah, I can agree with that. At first, when I looked at it without thinking of the concept of Menjo, I thought it was a really meh card, and then I was like, wait, Menjo's gonna abuse this, isn't it?
Specifically Hero Menjo. Legend Menjo is not going to get too much use out of this.
Yeah, exactly.
But Hero Menjo, this is added mill. This is very likely going to be the second second Omni die in the deck, with the first being inverse Omni die, of course. And this is just being able to select a card is great. Interestingly enough, if you're playing this in Magic World, playing Malignant Tumor on it lets you just reuse its ability over and over, which is great.
Yeah.
It's really gross. All right. Moving on. The next card I want to cover is for our Zwei player, or Zwei turned Ein player actually. Spawn of the Demonic Dragon Abyssgate. Being able to search up Azida Haka or Dragon Throne for both Ein and Zwei is interesting, because it says size 3 or greater. Do you see this as a staple 4 of just because of the ability to grab the searchers and it basically being a better Zahak?
I feel like it is. Definitely because it's size 3 or greater, so it's very versatile for Zwei and Ein.
And since Dragon Throne is removable now because Chest Break is a card now, being able to grab multiple is still nice.
Yeah, no, this card's really good. Definitely a good boost to both variants. I mean, on the bright side, it's like you at least won't have to worry. Like right now, the deck's in a place where it's not actually going to be like the #1 worry on people's list. So I can see like it just sneaking its way into into a tournament of any sort, a local tournament, a regional event, and then just stealing a few wins just because. From what I'm seeing, Chest Break isn't even making sideboards now. It's mostly like Obstruct and then like key cards for specific scenarios. While some people do obviously run the couple of the Chest Break. But other than that, yeah, no, this is a really solid card. I think it can just the deck can just probably sneak a few wins in, honestly.
Yeah, and I think that's not really much I can say about that one. I actually brought it up only just to cover the Ein Zwei player, but I really haven't played with this card personally, so I was kind of relying on you guys for help on that end.
Yeah, I will admit, like I saw all the stuff they got, and I was like, oh, okay. I haven't had time to test it. I've been too busy testing like 4 or 5 different decks right now.
No decks to test. It's great.
I know, it's really good. It's really diverse. It's Buddy Legends is offering a lot. X2's off to a good start for the 8 episodes it is.
Mm-hmm. And then finally, since I'm technically part of that group and I'm the Magic role player, I wanted to cover Dysautonomia. This one is basically your way of staying alive in Plague if life gain won't cut it. If you're facing like 10, 11, 12 attacks, this basically says I'm going to take way less damage. The ability of being in Soul is kind of weak, but at the very least, this is a playable shield.
Yeah, this card is so dumb. This card is crazy good. Like Plague just got like the added if you're like one of the things is like probably swords can be a bad matchup here because they have like a lot of outs to like just the resting of narcolepsy. But if you can make all their 2 crit swords. And like they do have some 1 crit swords into either like 0 or 1 critters. That is so bad. Oh, that is a setback for them. That is auto DD going to 1 crit. Oh man. And then the secondary in the soul effect, honestly, like if it didn't even have this, it probably would have still just been it's still being played. This card is just whoa, okay. Okay, play. Calm down, buddy.
Yeah. It's pretty ridiculous, honestly. What I do think it balances it, though, kind of, is that it doesn't really help Plague survive impacts, especially the 20 damage impact from Thunder Empire, and I think that's okay.
Yeah, I think that's fine. The way that they have to resolve that is, like, either pay all that gauge or just basically have to do, like, the all-in turn. Current Plague variants, they right now they can easily go over 20 life. They just when they're playing against Tef, they have to play way more conservative, like super conservative, and watch that because obviously a lot of Tef variants are playing the 20 damage impact, just to cheese wins off of like the scenario where they can go for the overthrow bats just to make it costless essentially. Honestly, yeah, just basically, you gotta play conservative against Tef. Other than that, I think the card is really good. And the fact that you can cast it twice, if you just have the excess gauge and you can just make things 0 crit, that's basically like that's a turn basically that they can't do anything with.
Yeah. All right. So before we move on to the main topic, there was a delay announced for Solar Strife, the set after Buddy Legends. What are your guys' thoughts about that? Let's go with Adrian first.
I mean, it makes my paycheck happy.
That's not what I was expecting.
Other than that, it's not like a big deal. Like the 1 week, it's just more like hopefully from what they were saying, because they want to, give us a better quality control essentially. Hopefully they meet up to that and actually like make sure that they keep up to their word with it. But other than that, it isn't too big of a deal. It isn't like a large delay. Like if it was like a month gap, it could actually make a really big change to the possibility of a format. But a 1 week's not too big of a deal. If anything, it's actually kind of better that they straight up just said, we'll delay this. We want to try to get a better, we want to give you basically better quality of the product, and then also just make sure it's on track and just on time and meets up to a high standard.
Fair enough. Raja, your thoughts?
I guess I'd just be disappointed that after the delay and they still have low quality things, that would suck. Rather than that,
Yeah,
it's not that bad. It's just a week.
just a week. TCD, your thoughts?
I agree. It's just a week I could wait, but like I need my Hero World babies. They can't like release these good, amazing cards and then just be like, nah, you gotta wait a little bit longer. I'm impatient.
That's my mindset until I see more. Like we have yet a lot of the sets still to be released, but until I see cards that pique my interest, that will be my mindset soon, probably.
Have you seen the Makuro though?
Yeah, I did. No, I saw the Makuro. No, don't even.
Cool. 8/7 with the new set spell.
Yeah, no, that's a good card. It actually gives you another way to make use of Schwartz's. The new Schwartz's secondary effect.
Oh yeah, definitely. Plus, it's only a gauge for double attack transform.
Yeah, don't get me even started on that. Yeah, just the fact you're paying just 1 gauge and opposed to the 1 life 1 gauge or like a 2 gauge, it's just way better.
Yeah.
And yeah, that should be it. So let's go ahead and go to our main topic. So last time we recorded, I wasn't 100% sure about what our main topic would be until No Game, No Life was announced for Weiss. And that brought me to the topic of there's quite a bit of a difference between the Japanese market and the English market, especially when it comes to the games of Bushiroad. What do you make of cards that are printed in English but not in Japanese, and then cards that are printed in Japanese but not English? I'll give you an example. There's a couple of actually cards in Buddyfight English that Japanese doesn't have yet. They still don't have the Green Dragon Knight Song of Ancient Lands.
Thankfully.
And they don't have Mikazuchi Knight Rebellious.
Don't?
Oh wow, okay, that's
Yeah, we got that and they didn't. So
Dang.
what do you make of stuff like that?
An example of like where it really affected one of the cards I'd like to bring up was definitely it's being played for sure in almost every deck, sideboard, maybe a couple in main board. It's the generic we all know and love to say goodbye, Mr. Drawman. Obstruct. I remember when it was like announced like a way back, like during I think early X or it was like mid X, that Obstruct was like shown in Japan, and like we didn't get that for a while, and honestly, it actually would have changed our meta like drastically back then because of how much card draw there's still a lot of card draw right now. But it depends on like the card, on like whether it comes to like our side or their side. Like because it can possibly meta define is the thing. If not, like it could just be like I don't think Shiny Osmodai can now meta define. No, I'm sorry, TNS. I'm sorry, man. Maybe one day. Maybe they're gonna like retrain Shiny Osmodai one day. But personally, I think it's it usually depends. Like the fact that I didn't even know that Japan doesn't have Mikazuchi Rebellious.
I stand corrected. They are getting it soon.
Okay, well, currently not having it is
they currently don't have it. No, it's coming up. It's going to be releasing around the end of April or May.
Yeah. Considering all variants for Yamagata Mikazuchi builds are playing like definitely max of it. It will suck for them. Until they get it. Probably gonna actually hurt the deck from quite a bit. Other than that, it just depends on, for the buddy fight side, like how good a card is, or how it can like basically define a meta, or it can just define like the current format, just a lot of things like that. Also, it's possible because sometimes like maybe there is thought into it, because like the fact that if they gave us Obstruct way earlier, it would have probably like dictated, like I could imagine like Tef would have been pretty bad, actually, for a while, until it got like all the insane amount of support from Overturn Thunder Empire and then Rainbow Striker. And obviously Driven to Disorder, but yeah, that's basically like my thought on that.
Okay. TCD, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I remember actually talking about Shiny Asmodai. When I first started the game, I started like end of 100, and I actually built an Asmodai deck. And I remember this was like the first time like I realized that like Japan had cards we didn't. And I always felt like I always felt like it would have been like just so much easier if they just released cards, like if they released in Japan or the United States or English. They did the same, because I remember recently I was trying to build combo Asgard, I think, and I wanted to test out Darkness Rune, but they didn't. Like it was like $16 sold out everywhere, and I wanted to get Kill Order. And I remember for like the longest time, or it felt like the longest time, like Japan had Kill Order, and like we didn't get it until like just recently with New World Chaos.
Yeah. I'm actually reminded of something, and I just wanted to interject here. I had an interview with Bushiroad USA, some of the members there, I believe in 2015 when I was on a trip to California, and I was once I secured the meeting, I asked both Voice and BuddyFight players what questions they would like to ask Bushiroad, and one of the questions that came up is like, what happens about the cards that are only in Japan? Will those ever come to English? And specifically, the two that were mentioned that were brought up all the time was the size 0 Hanako, Shiny Up Hanako, and Shiny Asmodai. The Hanako ended up coming after I asked that question, but Shiny Asmodai still hasn't. So I'm still a little sore about that.
They're waiting, man. They're waiting for like the next golden buddy pack for the new season, man. Oh, golden buddy pack.
So never.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably never, man.
They're waiting for you to win Worlds. It's gonna be announced when you win.
Me?
I promise.
Well, here's the problem though. I've only been to Worlds for once. Do I have to win Buddy Fight?
Yeah, you gotta win Buddy Fight, and then they're gonna.
I mean, it depends. Like, what if the promo isn't too good? Like, what if the world promo for Weiss isn't that good? Like, maybe you can demand for the Shiny Asmodai instead.
I don't know if I want to use my first place request to make Shiny Asmodai when I have, I don't know.
But what if it's the only Shiny Asmodai in existence that's given you?
What if you get 4 copies of it? But it's just your 4 copies, like nothing else, or no one else's.
You're tempting me.
Just like, let's all go to Japan and protest until we get our Shiny Asmodais.
That's not how this works. So Raja?
Well, I actually had a talk with staff that was regarding this. He said that they try to give us as much as they can from the Japanese to the English, but he said it was difficult.
They used to not actually care about, here we're going to have some promos and we're not going to bring all of these over to English. There's been a more concerted effort to bring those over lately, actually.
Like before we got the cuts from 5 World Buildmasters, that was one of the things I asked him. When are we going to get all this and all that? And he was like, I can't actually say, but All I can say is soon. 1 week later, it was announced. I was like, okay. So he said that they tried to give us what we don't have yet, but they're like they don't know how to give it like as in like promos for short tournaments or something like that. They're trying to give, and then there's some rights like was it the pizza batch?
Oh yeah, what's in the box? Pizza's in the box. I remember that. Oh jeez.
Because of rights, they can't give that to English also. So there's some things we can't get.
Yeah, I can agree with that honestly. Just trying to figure out where to put something. Like as a company, trying to figure out where to put like stuff like that can be kind of hard. Whether it can be in a tournament event promo, it can be in a product like an alternative. Yeah, I can sort of understand that point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Then he also said that they tried to do some English exclusive stuff like the green song, and then the Mirage card backs. Yeah, they tried to do that for English, and then he was like, "Do you guys like it?" I was like, "Yeah, nice."
Yeah. I'm pretty sure also the Exalted flags are English exclusive. I don't think those are available in Japanese.
Oh, yeah, exclusive.
Well, either way, I mean, this whole disconnect between Japanese and English feels a little bit weird, but I guess it's because of how they are as a company. Is that what we're thinking here?
Yeah, that's how I see it.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, I could say it's more like it's possibly just a disconnect from two sides.
Okay, and so I guess here's a follow-up question. So what determines which promos make it out over here? Because if we're just talking about like competitive ones, then we have weird stuff like Drum Bunker Dragon Father. That one made it here for some reason.
Dude, what do you mean? That card's super OP. It's competitive. Like I just gotta bring my dad to regionals.
Yeah.
I feel like they try and think about it. Like what was it? The Futon Sweeping Whirlwind.
Mm-hmm.
That just came recently. I feel like that made ninjas more apparent, or at least at my locals, ninjas after this card got released, ninjas started being used like a lot more and popped up more in like shop tournaments and stuff like that.
Yeah. Regarding I think it's more of just it could be what Bushroad's doing is they just go through Now I don't want to say it for a fact because it's obviously just not just a hunch, but it could be where they look at some cards Whirlwind, Obstruct, Kill Order, and they okay, these are actually good cards, and they look through whether it'd be okay to actually put them out here as because they probably do keep the competitive side very in tabs from their topping and results and stuff. While they also probably just put in some of the random things obviously the current some box stoppers that the drum box stopper or that bats one that has I think it's literally just has penetrate or something, or a very basically. I feel it's more of just a random for some of the box stoppers. Is they want to you could get this good box stopper, or you could just get one of these box stoppers.
Do you think that the way that they're handing out these promos, by the way, is a good is it good, or can it be better, or would you prefer it in a different method? What do you think?
Honestly, I definitely think they could. I don't see why they couldn't just try to fit some of these in the set, like how some card games do it. Just try to fit in obviously maybe just not give it a possibility to even be foiled, but if you could just fit in whenever Magic World gets deployed again, you could just make one of the secret slots or just anything depending on how they do the new format for the new season, fitted shiny Osmodai. Oh, you have a chance from a box to get one of these super exclusive shiny Osmodais never before seen.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, or just add like a whole there's a lot of things they can do. It just depends on how we have to be. I think as a community, we have to be more vocal, or they just need to be more willing to listen to how vocal we are with wanting to get these promos. Because as you previously did say, TNS, and so did Raja, was you guys did talk to people, and then from Bushy Road, and they actually took in questions and answers from other players, and then brought that as a concern to them, and they actually did take some of them into account. So I imagine it's more of a vocal thing at that point.
I mean, I don't have any delusions of grandeur about my conversation being the only reason that Shiny Up Hanako actually came to English, but I do think that general feedback is a good thing. If there were a lot more channels for just feedback instead of just complaints or questions or stuff like that, if there was just a channel for feedback, that would be nice, right?
Yeah, definitely. Or just I'm surprised they haven't done it for a while, but I don't know for people who've gone to regionals before, but remember when they gave out those slips of like feedback and stuff?
Oh, you mean the survey thing?
Yeah, those surveys. Like, I'm surprised they haven't done those anymore.
We had that last winter in our last fall regionals. We had that.
Well, that feels bad. I didn't get any surveys.
Oh.
I guess we're not important enough.
Adrian, going off of what you said about like working them into sets, if I remember correctly, didn't they actually do that with Mini Gear God Orange?
Yes, they did do that with Mini Gear God Orange, and they've done it in the past a couple of times. The results have been kind of mixed. It's great that it's in the booster and not a box topper type thing, but then there's also some weird series of negative feedback about how come it's coming here now instead of earlier or something like that. So it's weird but mixed.
Yeah.
People complaining.
Well, I mean, I think we've covered as much as we could. We just kind of hope that Bush Road has a way to collect more feedback, and we'd like to see this division address at least a little bit more.
Maybe you should all email them at once. That's one.
Well, either way, I think that's everything we wanted to cover today. So, again, everyone, thanks for coming. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, TCD, and thank you to our guest, Raja, for being with us.
No problem. Thanks. I'm always good. It's a lot of fun to be a podcast and then talk about this game. This is a really good game.
Yeah, definitely. I feel the same way.
Time is it over there? It's like 11 o'clock in the morning, Raja, for you?
Yeah. Oh my god. It's too early here.
It's 11
o'clock on Tuesday.
I'm just glad there's no class today. Yeah.
Well, for you, Adrian, it's like 11 o'clock at night, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, apologies for keeping you guys so late/early.
Thanks, guys, for
no problem. I'm just glad we were able to actually get it together.
Yeah. No random disconnects, no banning me bot.
Soon.
Oh goodness, please no.
Meeseeks just hates you.
I mean, it would suck, right? We're almost ending, and then you get disconnected. I would.
Oh man, that would
you
suck.
get banned.
Reboot.
Well, yeah, that would have been weird. Anyways, our main topic for next week, and since this weekend is our regional here in Vancouver. So what I want to talk about as our main topic next time is something we like to do after regionals. What do you do to relax from card games? Is there a activity that you take, or do you just take your mind off it, or do you just continue to play and just wind down that way? I'd like to know what you guys think, and we'll hear back from you if this video actually gets uploaded. Yeah, as I've alluded to a couple of times, our first recording didn't get uploaded due to technical reasons. Well, either way, thank you very much for listening. And I was surprised, Adrian, that you didn't catch which YouTuber I borrowed this from, but click like if you like this video, click subscribe if you really liked it. and I hope to see you again next time.